Life is a disease. A millennium ago, a supreme necromancer was on the verge of conquering the world. But you know what they say about best laid plans. Inevitably, heroes shall emerge. So, I was made dead. Again. But what does death really mean for somebody who has mastered it, Boredom. An eternity to ponder my errors and how close I came to victory. I am a mortal, but when this world ends, even I will know oblivion. And so, I ask myself, will I be given another chance to rise before it happens? Another chance to fulfill my ambition? It seems that fate has smiled after all.
Too. What do you think? Pretty cool, huh? So there you go. There's the story, the gist of it. And now we're rebuilding our army. We basically those first few miners that stumbled upon our ancient tomb after 1,000 years and broke us free get to be the first, critters that we reanimate. And that's these folks right here. We have a prime-made bride of Iratus. Let's click on these and I'll show you a little bit about them. Interesting information. Excuse me. In fact, I will read these DM style. A design fashioned by the necromancer himself. The bride uses only the best part to raise a deadly archer with an unhealthy love for her creator. Said love is then channeled into burning desire to shoot out the eyes of anything that might try to get close to the one she worships. Skeleton. A fairly unimpressive warrior, whose one standout characteristic is their utter mediocrity. While they often make up the backbone, pun intended, of most undead armies, skeletons are so boring that they are never really acknowledged by their creators or their enemies. That is not true, since I have played. Wow. Sorry. Since I've been playing the game, I really enjoyed the skeleton. It's actually been one of my favorite minions. Zombie. This guy's been my least favorite minion. Before Iratus came along, zombies were considered little more than fodder troop by other necromancers. It took a true visionary to realize that a mindless mass of undead muscle could be used for more than simply bashing the heads of mortals. With a bit of technological assistance, these rotting hulks were turned into mobile artillery, capable of carrying and shooting cannons that would normally need several humans to operate. And then, finally, my favorite, the Dark Knight. A manifestation of living void, contained in a vessel of knightly armor. These necromantic soldiers are often seen leading the armies of undead against the civilizations of the mortals, where they learn the skill to do battle and wage wars unknown, but all of them despise existence and seek to reduce everything to nothing. So, you have these cool-ass abilities, and these are really similar. If you've played that other game we were just talking about earlier, Darkest Dungeon, you will notice right away that this is really just like that. Like that, for example, this ability hits all four in the line of your opponents, and then these can hit those first three, etc. You kind of get the gist of it. So stats wise, the Dark Knight doesn't start out with a lot of damage, but oh my god, can they tank. They take so many hits because of their high armor and resistance to magic. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, without getting, I'm sure once I'm upgrading my critters, my minions, you will see more about their stuff. So, and since I've obviously gone through the tutorial, we will go through these things together. These are the different things that you can do. You start off with some talent points, and you can put them in different skills. Additionally, if you go to the graveyard back here, when you first start out, you got to build these buildings. Except the mortuary. It looks like, oh wow, on this higher difficulty, it started out with the mortuary. Excuse me. Wow, the mortuary already built. So the mortuary is neat because your minions are undead, right? So they don't heal like your typical, normally when you're playing a game like this, a turn-based strategy game, you got your party of heroes. You got your mage, your warrior, your rogue, and your cleric. And your cleric is there to heal your dudes. But I'm not the heroes. I'm the bad guys in the dungeon. So being the necromantic sorcerer that I am, we don't have a way of really healing our dudes. I mean, there are ways. You can use alchemy, but it's really expensive because you need all these parts. When you're creating minions, you need parts. And you only get parts by defeating enemies. And if you use up the parts, ooh, wow, it unlocked a lot. If you use up the parts to use the alchemy skills, maybe heal your dudes or give yourself mana, then you don't have as many parts to make more more minions or to upgrade your minions. Man, enough of the coughing. So, oh, by the way, Star Kitty, I didn't bother to change the name of the game. By chance, were you able to do so? If not, I will. I think I did. See, just in case she's in a meeting. Oh, I already did. You're such a sweetheart. Thank you, honey. Okay. So, yeah. You have all these different things that you can upgrade your talents, which is basically what's different about this than Darkest Dungeon is that you are also sort of get to influence the game. So with Darkest Dungeon, when you have your heroes and fighting and stuff, you're not there to cast spells. At least I don't remember. I don't think so. But you can't be targeted. You'll see once we get into a fight. In fact, you know what? Before we go into all these explanations of all these things, this is where you create your minions, and this is where you can equip yourself with artifacts. Let's do that right now. This sickle is the total sum of minion levels in battle is less than 21. After victory, Iratus additionally gains 10% of. Oh, that seems good. Let's throw that on.
Fetching.
So. That will give me a little boost. Okay, so I see what's going on here. And let's just go ahead and get into the first dungeon fight. This is an explanation of why your burial chamber got disturbed. Remember, this is 1,000 years later, so in the long annals of history of humankind in this area, apparently, you were kind of forgotten, right? And so, here's the story. The kingdom had need of the vast riches buried beneath the castle, great veins of iron that promised to fuel conquest after conquest, along with ancient artifacts from a long-forgotten age. The dwarves were eager to offer their services in this project, bringing their untested mining equipment and experimental concoctions for the promise of wealth. They only needed bodies that could obey, that humans could provide. With dungeons filled to the brim with both criminals and rebels, there was no shortage of slaves to work these mines. Drugs were used to keep them docile as they dug ever deeper, year after year, unaware of the mortal danger that awaited them below. I need to mute that before that happens. Sorry. All right, we're here. These are our dudes. We're gonna go have a battle. Simple enough, right? Oh wow, we got them outnumbered. Ooh, but they had a better initiative. Okay. All right. So this ability is gonna boost. I think, yeah, this ability can boost the armor and resistance of one of my dudes until the battle ends. We're gonna do that on this guy because I had figured out from playing previously in the tutorial game that he's already high in armor and stuff, and he has his fight ability does extra damage based upon how high his armor and resistance is. All right, this Bride of Iratus chick is just straight up an archer. She's a sniper. So one of the cool things about this game, which is really reminiscent of Darkest Dungeon, is that there isn't just the health bars, there's also these stress bars. Which, if you remember Darkest Dungeon, it was the reverse of that, right? When you're going up against the monsters with your heroes, you're the one who has to mitigate their stress. They sometimes will not bother to attack your health, they will attack your stress so that your dudes will die of a heart attack or run away, things like that. Well, now you get to do that to them in this game. So that's what you can do sometimes. She has this ability that interrupts stances and does damage to their stress level. Although I think for now we're just going to simplify this early fight and just beat up the dudes with some physical damage. This zombie guy is different. Like, you would think a zombie would be like a basher brawler, but he's not. He just carries this cannon around and does ranged attacks. Alright, so he's in a stance, which gives him some buffs and stuff. So we're gonna interrupt his stance. No, you can't do that. Just go away. We're gonna buff him up one more time, because this particular buff stacks up to 3 times. See now? Oh, you'll see it in a second. Wow. Zombie takes hits. And now, if you look over here, his armor and his resistance are up to 16. So that's pretty cool because, as you can see, his ability deals additional damage equal to the sum of the Dark Knight's armor and resistance. So, yeah, this guy's dead.
Being born was your first mistake. Opposing me?
Let's set these guys on fire. Ooh. Told you this guy can tank, am I right? The skeleton's actually not bad either. Besides the fact that he can buff your dudes, he's a pretty good warrior. Oh, she crit that dude. Knocked his heart out of his butt. And volley. Alright, that's another enemy army defeated.
Another step towards my eternal kingdom.
And another step towards my eternal kingdom. And so we got loots. We got digger souls. That allows us to upgrade the buildings in our graveyard. We got a crow paw. This is an item that we can put on our minions. This one curses enemies for 2 turns when minion uses ability, dealing stress, AOE, and that's pretty cool. And then this is more stuff to make more dudes. So now, let's go into the creation center. Oh wow, okay, so in my other game I unlocked these guys. So apparently in this game it does too. So one of the neat things, see this brain? That shows the level of your minions. So Dark Knight's my favorite. The neat thing about the brain is, so obviously, well, we're about to go up to level 2. If I take this brain and replace this brain with it, it automatically levels my guy up to the level that's in this brain. That's pretty neat. So it's as if you took a higher level person's brain and plopped it in your little undead minion, and now he's higher level too. So let's show you how it's done. Super simple. Just do that. And now, because of that, we have an ability upgrade. You can go either left or right, and you can't do both. So you kind of have to. This allows you to strategically pick the way you want your minions to be able to do things. As you can see, at first glance, sometimes you can't quite tell the differences. You have to read really carefully sometimes. Like in this instance, if you go to the right, what's happening is the secondary ability of the ability, which is the bottom part, doesn't change at all. But what does change is the amount of damage that base damage that it does goes up. Whereas if we go this way, the reverse happens. The damage equal to the armor and resistance goes up. And I kind of like that route because I like to combo the skeleton with the Dark Knight by pumping up his armor and resistances. So if I pump them up higher, then he's doing more damage.
Now,
so we're going to do that.
Prove yourself worthy of my investment.
Yes, Dark Knight, prove yourself worthy. All right, so as you can see, the Dark Knight already has great armor, which is protection. Basically, this number right here is the amount that's reduced from the damage that's dealt to your minion. And then this resistance is, so this is resistance to physical damage, and this one is resistance to magical damage. There's two different magic types in the game. And this is the damage that he deals in physical damage. This is the damage he deals in stress damage. Not all minions do stress damage, or maybe they do, I don't know. Here's his health. He's not super healthy, but he doesn't need to be because he's got so much resistance. This is your initiative. I like to boost initiative because I like going first. This guy, he needs a boost to his damage to make him really effective. For now, though, we'll just go ahead and go boost initiative,
Reinforce the
boost
bones,
damage.
strengthen the flesh, blacken the spirit. Yeah.
So you have to be careful where you put these, because unlike other games, these items are not reusable. I mean, some of them are. I'll show you that there are some artifacts that you can put on Iratus that stay on all the time, but they're consumable. The thing is, these items. Wow. Okay. These items. Once you place them on your dude, you can't take them off again. You can only replace them with something something else. This is unbelievable. I cannot figure out what is going on with this cough. So, we need to turn the air purifier on. I don't think I want to use this on him. This is better used on somebody who can use AoE abilities and who focuses on stress damage. He's more about the physical damage. I know all these guys are, to be honest with you. So let's build a minion. It's really good at stress damage. The Banshee, she's really cool at stress damage. So is the Wraith. Do we want to make a spooky female ghost or spooky male ghost? Not that it really matters what their gender is, but all right. I think we're going to go ahead and make a Banshee. We're going to make a Banshee. We just click fill and it automatically fills in this stuff. If I want to upgrade her, I can put better stuff in. You'll see later that the quality of the items improves the quality of your minion. And they're different color around this area. Let's craft.
Useful if you can put up with their constant whining.
We'll go ahead and put the zombie away. No, he was not being sexist, although he's a super bad guy. He could be if he wanted to, I suppose. His what he was talking about is the Banshee is the only character minion in this game that doesn't like to do what you said. It's basically under complete mental control of you, and it's this raised spirit. She doesn't want to do the stuff that you make her do, and so it's kind of some of the dialogue is pretty funny. All right, so now we have created a new minion that focuses on stress damage. The Dark Knight kind of has a mix. He does physical damage, but he also is decent at stress damage too. He's kind of just super well-rounded. So, I'm going to show you the buildings here because we need to get those going. Luckily, the mortuary's done. What's probably the best thing? Do we want the arena? Excavation. Finds more body parts. This one finds more digger souls. This requires a wraith. So yeah, let's go back and build a wraith. So what's neat is the way you really have to use up your resources effectively because so this wraith we're not going to actually use in our army.
Feeling in my putrefied gut.
I gotta read the thing. Despite the seeming simplicity of this minion, its summoning has been prohibited by the Necromancer's Guild since the dawn of history. Not even Iratus remembers the reason for this decree, but there are many dark rumors surrounding this particular summoning. It is said that the very first Necromancer created this minion as a vessel for his rebirth, or that the soul that answers the Necromancer's call comes not from the afterlife, but from another much more alien place. Nobody seems to have the courage to put these theories to the test, or maybe those that did never survived the process. Still, the guild has been nothing but ruins for millennia. It is now up to Iratus to decide what to do with this knowledge. Well, I built one, and we're gonna sack it. We're gonna sacrifice it to make this obelisk. Because we have already started out with some digger soul points.
The obelisk is overflowing with souls.
So now the cool thing is with this guy in there, he's going to start bringing us more digger souls, boost this up so we can build more buildings. And the buildings do different things, and they're really cool. So, moving on, next fight, we got, this is my favorite A-team so far. I'm kind of following what I did before, so I may have to do some changing up some strategy and tactics just to try out different things. We'll do that here in a little bit, but let's get into the next fight. Oh, well, actually, the next encounter isn't a fight, per se. It's just, oh, wow, that's a different maze altogether. It's, Fountain of Restoration. We already have full mana. So, when you go to this Fountains of Restoration, it can either give you mana if you used spells, or it can give your creatures vigor, which is their life. So there are ways to heal your dudes in the game, just they're very rare. They don't happen very often. I think if we're going to use that, then we need to put him there for now. And refill our vigor. Now we're going to swap these guys out. Then you go to the next fight. Let this slaughter commence. the knight says. All right. I'm gonna start this one out. We're gonna focus on stressing these guys out. So we're going to futile hopes with the stance. Whenever these guys buff each other, I don't think any of these guys buff, so that may have been a waste. Yeah, these particular enemies, if you look at their stats, I don't think they do any buffing. Oh well. No worries. Bride of Iratus. He's gonna go ahead and that guy. Ouch! 11 points of damage. That was not insignificant. So he's got another neat ability, which is called Astounding Fortitude, and it basically redirects any attack to the one he targets to himself, but then it also boosts his resistance and armor up by 12. So I'm gonna protect the Banshee. Wow, he did enough damage to get through his armor. Oh, well, yeah. And then now it's the Banshee's turn. We're going to Soprano. It stresses them out and reduces their, as you can see, they got little debuffs here, minus their attacks. See, just like in if you've played Darkest Dungeon, there are moves that move your dudes around. So sometimes you can use that tactically. See, this guy's already so terrified that he wants to run the hell away. And now the damage he receives is an extra 50%. We're gonna let him run away though, probably, because we want to spread our reputation. We want them to be. We want the legend to spread amongst the miners that there's some some dark doom in the deep. This guy can take debuffs off of himself. He can debuff, which is cool. So one of the neat things you know with giving an enemy enough stress doesn't just either make them run away or go insane. It can also kill them by giving them a heart attack. So yeah, it's pretty brutal. It can be very brutal. It's definitely a strategy that can work on the right kind of enemies. See, we went ahead and let him get away. So, interestingly enough, like, that's really more for flavor, because, I don't know, I think I'd rather them stick around so you get more body parts. However, there's later on a special magic ability, a passive ability that Iratus gets, that if it's not passive actually, you have to cast a spell. And once you've cast this spell, if any of the enemies escape, then you get a vampire in return. And so you actually want to try and stress them out so that at least one of them runs away and you get a vampire, which is really neat.
soon embrace your new existence.
See? Dude died from a heart attack because we stress him out so much. He's so stressed he thinks he sees his guts, even though we haven't actually damaged him at all. Alright, enough farting around. Since this guy seems to be rolling good, rolling lucky on the stress test, we're just gonna finish him off. Yep, a physical. Oh no, that's alright. Oh, that did it.
Soon this world will be mine.
Ooh, we got war drums. Oh, that's one of my favorite artifacts. I got that early on in my first game, and you get it boosts the initiative of your minions. So we're definitely gonna throw that on on Iratus. So, and we got some digger souls and some body parts. Cool.